Okay, greetings everyone. This is Gerard, editor-in-chief of Filipino Soul Magazine, aka S.G.I.B magazine. The stand for Soldiers Got Intentions. Believe that. And everyone should be soldiering for something, a dream, a goal, an idea, a train of thought, something. The sun is dropping pretty fast. I thought I had it all set up, but now that I look at it, I see that the shadow, the sun is dropping very fast, so let me kind of put a little more light on me. So, aka Filipino S.G.I.B magazine, like I said, stand for Soldiers Got Intentions. Believe that. And everyone should be soldiering for something, a dream, a goal, an idea, a train of thought, something. And on the PVG production stands for Photos by Gerard, the best in freelance publicity, photography, and CEO of the Borough Corporation, that stands for Be Ever Remembering Your Love. Let me put a little music on. You know, I wanted to, I hope you have enjoyed my little workout video. I wanted to do more of those, so maybe tomorrow I'll do another one. But there are a couple of things I want to bring to your attention, and then I'm going to bring you up to date on some news that was happening here in the Philippines that you may not hear nowhere else, because often the time they're too busy focusing on the negative of what happens here in the Philippines as far as the president's concerned. So I thought not to toot his horn, but kind of give you an idea of what's going on with the president here in the Philippines. As you notice, I did something I didn't think I would do in the Philippines, and that's get familiar with the Pawnshop again. So yes, end of the month, and I chose this time not to pressure or call my daughter or someone like this to send an SOS. I just decided, well, you know what? You know, why should now be any different than any other time in my life? Let me just go to the Pawnshop, and that's what I did. Of course, it's not the same, believe you me. but you know, I am grateful and blessed. Nevertheless, the same. You know, that I was able to get something to kind of get me over, you know, this little rough patch I'm in. There's something else I want to talk to you about. I talk about. Okay, I wanted to tell you that you know, I know you notice that whenever I post a video, there's always a whole lot of writing that I do as far as a description of what's on my video. I hope I never get so arrogant and so caught up in myself that I think you want to hear everything of what I got to say. You know, so by my giving you a little description of what the video is and what's on it, it kind of gives you an idea to kind of make the decision on your own if you want to watch the whole thing. Hold on a second. I have an idea, because the sunlight's dropping pretty fast. Just hold on. Okay, let's see something here. As they said, God said, let there be light. Okay. It gives me like a little, since it's Halloween, you got a little spooky thing going there. But anyway, at least now you can see me, and I can see what it is that I'm reading and what it is I'm doing. So, yeah, so as I was saying, that's why I post a lot of stuff on there, because this way, I hope I never get so swollen up in myself that I think you want to hear everything I got to say. You know, and it's funny because sometimes whenever you're watching a description of videos, if you notice with today's climate, and they talk about the diversity of what's happening in politics, in our society, in social media, if you notice that the titles have gone, especially on the news, CNN, Fox News, or whatever, it's no longer, you know, so-and-so interviews so-and-so. It's so-and-so destroys so-and-so. So-and-so laughs, you know, makes so-and-so look like a fool. You know, that seems to be the climate. Saying what they're actually doing is that they're adding to the, you know, the hostility or the animosity towards someone else when they make a description in the video. That would be something comparable to a wrestling match. You know, so-and-so body slammed somebody, you know, and telling the truth or something like that or whatever. So that's something I've noticed. And as far as when I read the script, 'cause I watch videos, and not only for the news purposes, but also for the discussion. I think it's very good to be informed, and I like to consider myself someone who's informed. What else I want to talk to you about? Oh yeah, I just recently was able to figure out how to change the size of my Facebook screen. Because on my desktop, whenever I hit notification, I'm like this, trying to read the description. I love this girl. I love this girl. Her name is Jaya. So anyway, I was always pressed up against the screen trying to read it. And so the other day I was fooling around with the settings, and I hit settings and it dropped down and it said size. So of course I clicked on it, and then when I clicked on it, it showed that I was at 100% or something like this, or less than. So I clicked 200%, like wow, it's a big difference. It's like now I can see. So which is a real good thing. Oh yeah, and of course I'll mention how big Helen's getting. I thought Helen was going to stop growing, but it seems like she's still growing, and not too much more, because she was the smallest of the litter. So I don't really anticipate her being that big. I met someone who has a male husky who was interested in breeding with Helen, but the deal is that this husky is a long-haired husky, and I know how much problems Helen is as far as the heat is concerned here in the Philippines, because huskies is originally a breed that was bred in a cold climate in Alaska for like pulling sleds, and that's the breed of the dog. Speaking of the breed, because they are bred to pull sleds, when Helen got sick from pulling, I thought she had a bone stuck in her throat, but it turned out to be from her, because she was coughing and she couldn't bark, and I couldn't figure out why she couldn't bark. And come to find out that ski. When I was in the South, that was the word that my grandfather used to use for hunting dogs, ski. So when he said ski, the dogs would go on alert and go attack something. So Helen's on alert, probably chasing rats and birds. So anyway, it's crazy because like ants are everywhere, what I'm saying? So, and mosquitoes are everywhere here in the Philippines. That's not that bad, but I was telling someone that it's no fun killing a whole swarm of ants, who are on something, eating, doing the best they can, or whatever it is. I said, I want that one ant. I want that one ant who's traveling by himself. That Lewis and Clark ant. That Davy Crockett ant. That one ant who, when they said, okay, who's gonna go out and look for food? And Jimmy said, I'll go. And he goes out and he's venturing around and he's looking to find something to entice the other ants to come. That's the one I want. I make him disappear, and then I can imagine the rest of the hive saying, well, why? It's taking him a long time. Do you think he's coming back? And he said, no, he's not coming back. But I got him. So anyway, so Helen, Helen, because of Helen's throat, her being pulling, she's a husky breed. So I had to choke her on her, and I thought it was a bone that was causing her to choke, because she was and kind of like throwing up a little bit, and she couldn't bark. So when I took her to the vet, it turned out it wasn't a bone in her throat. It was because of her choker, because her choker has spikes. I have a spike collar on her because once she broke her leash and she ran into the street, and I ran in the street behind her. I'm in the street in Cebu like this, blocking traffic, and make sure they don't hit my dog. So anyway, so I want to make sure that didn't happen again. So that's why I got the spike collar, to kind of prevent her from pulling. But then it turned out that it was also damaging her throat. So I turned, but she had calmed down a little bit as far as pulling. But now that I turned the collar around, because it take the spikes off of her throat and turn it around like inside out where the smooth part is around her neck. She's back to pulling, and I realized how strong she is. And you know, I don't really want to train her or discipline her. You know, I just let her just be her. You know, there could be a lot of things I could be teaching her, but right now when I walk her, I have her jumping over this wall, sitting, jumping over this wall and sitting, jumping over this wall and sitting, which is enough training for her. You know, just let her enjoy her life. You know what I'm saying? Chances are she's going to outlive me anyway. So let me see what else I want to say before I start telling you what's in the news. Okay, that's it. Now, let me go into a little bit of news here in the Philippines. And this is stuff you're not going to hear, you know, as far as what's happening here. Okay, number one, you know, President Duterte, who's the president of the Philippines, they want to drug test candidates. They want candidates running for office to voluntarily submit themselves to drug testing. I don't think that's such a bad idea, do you? You know, that's to make sure that, for obvious reasons, that people who are going to be placed in a position of power should be, and you're signing on to a legislation or government that is determined to root out drugs and eliminate the drug problem here in the Philippines. So why not the people running for office to make sure that they are drug free? So I think that's a good thing. Of course, Salvador Pena, who was in the cover of our first issue of Filipino Soul, says that yes, it shouldn't be mandatory, but it should be voluntarily. So they should volunteer, and that's a good thing because, you know, that gives them to do the, you know, give them opportunity to do the right thing, and that's to submit to a drug test to ensure that they are drug free. Whatever else on the news? There are a couple of things I wanted to point out to you. You can listen to her in the meantime. Okay, because his dedication, President Duterte's dedication to rule out corruption, he has fired 1,000 police officers who have been accused of being involved in drug or been in corruption. To fire that large amount of police officers, you know, is commendable. It's commendable, and it also reiterates his desire to rule out corruption and more importantly, fight the drug epidemic or the drug problem that's happening here in the Philippines. For the simple reason that he believes in protecting the young people, the children, and the seniors, and to make sure that they grow up or at least have an opportunity to live in an environment, drug-free environment. And I think that's something that any government body would want to do. I know in the United States they have I forgot what it's called, whatever drug it is. That's how out of the loop I am. But they have that epidemic there, but you don't hear too much about what's happening to it as far as fighting it. As opposed to like when the crack epidemic came. Yes, they were constantly showing you images of the crack and the devastation was happening in the community. You know, because why? Because it was considered an inner city problem, which is code word for black. It was a black problem, the crack epidemic. But now they have this. I'm gonna say methanol, but no. Now that they have this other drug problem that's affecting the white community, you don't hear too much about it. In fact, you come to find out that they don't actually lock a lot of them up. They give them opportunity to seek this type of rehab or seek some type of help, as opposed to lock them up like they did with the crack epidemic. So you don't hear a lot about what's happening there as fighting that war on drugs, which is which is far surpassed, the effect of what the crack epidemic did in inner cities, as what's happening now in white communities throughout the United States, all over. So you got to commend him for doing away with corrupt police officers. And if you're really serious about doing something about the crime epidemic, what you want to do is that you want to replace your whole narcotic department in the police department. For the simple reason that most police officers who are involved in narcotics, often become corrupt. Whether it be no fault of their own, or the nature of the beast, or because it's like what the hell, it seems to be the right thing for them to do at the time due to the blue wall of silence as far as other police officers. We know about corruption. We remember Serpico, who was the New York cop who talked in front of the NAP commission that busted the whole corruption in New York City at the time, because he had determined not to be one police officer who took bribes and what have you, but he was also the first one to bring exposure to the corruption that was taking place in the police department. So the narcotics department, I think you should automatically start from there. I think that should be a rotating entity, whereas they just replace them every 4 years, every 5 years with new faces, new outlooks, and because by then they wouldn't be tainted by corruption. Like for here, here's one about shabu. Shabu is the drug that is it's methamphetamines. It's how do you call it in the United States? Meth. It's meth, but here they call it shabu. And they busted this station, that water station that where you put in your water, but it turned out that he was also This girl is beautiful. Ellen Bayou is the next thing to her, because she sings the same song she does. So whenever I listen to this, yes, anyway, I think of Ellen, doing a couple of her songs. But it's her who drew attention to her. But when they deliver water, they're also delivering shabu. So of course they set up a sting, and there was 9 people arrested in this bus, and no one was killed. So those who want to think about it, executing drug dealers and all this stuff, what have you, you got to look at the times when he don't, when it doesn't happen. Because I know more often than not, it's a lot easier to eliminate the problem rather than just lock them up. So if you eliminate them, you have to worry about them coming back. I was kind of interested about the Pope, wanting to go to North Korea. He hasn't ruled it out. There's some concern because of North Korea, period, and of course it's human rights violations. And but if the Pope is and North Korea, for be that as it may, that's one of the good things I think that you can't take away from Donald Trump, was that him opening up the door for North Korea to come to the table, and they did, and they came to the table in a big way. Rather, if you want to thank him, you want to thank South Korea, or you want to thank China, or whatever, but it was because of Trump. Trump kind of kicked that door in, and God bless him, because now North Korea is not, testing missiles every now and then. They're going to haywire or whatever like this. So I think the Pope should visit him, come on next spring. So I think he should. If he's a man of peace, a man of God, and there's someone reaching out, who knows what more of an influence having a Pope in North Korea can do for its people. And God knows that's a place where they can use any type of inspiration or motivation that can come along. They have malls. Okay, this is, I'm going to pay close attention to the time. This is 19 minutes. Okay. They have malls or departments that are fully stocked, electronics, clothes, food, every washing machines, appliances, everything, and people can walk in there and see it, everything that was in there, but you can't buy nothing. It's not for sale. It's just for show. Imagine that. Russia, good old Putin. Putin has come up with a new weapon. It's an I can't. Let me see. Well, how does he call it? Emphasized Thursday that the country would only use. President Putin hailed the missile in Russia. What's it called? This is. Oh, you can't see her, but she's singing now. This is her singing it live. It's how do you call it? Well, anyway, it's a missile that they have made. What's the word they used? International policy. But anyway, I can't. It's in there. It's some type of sonic weapon. And he says that. Wait. What did he say? He said It says earlier this year, Putin said that the Avgard has the intercontinental range and can fly in the atmosphere at a speed 20 times the speed of sound, making it capable of piercing any missile defense system. And it's called a hydrosonic missile. So anyway, he says that he said, you may hurt us, but he said, but we will obliterate you. So I mean, this is awesome. That it's not awesome. It's unfortunate that we still live in an age that we're constantly improving on the capabilities of destroying not only ourselves but the world. So I guess kudos to Russia. You know what I'm saying? It said it would never use it as a first strike only in defense. So I guess that's good to know. The journalist in Saudi Arabia. I don't even want to talk about it. That's sick. What's happening there. Another story that caught my eye, and that's this story. I don't know if you can see it very good, but I'm going to hold it up here while I talk about it. If you see, there's a woman sitting next to her mother. She is the Miss Barangay crowns her mother before goodbye. She was the winner of the 2018 beauty contest, and just days before her mother passed, she met with her mother and she put the crown on her mother's head, which I think is a very beautiful, touching thing, for her to do for her mother. You can see in her smile. Let's see if I hold it closer. I don't know if you can see it. You can see in her smile how proud she is, even with her oxygen in her nose. You can see how it brightened her day, and God bless her for making the last couple of days of her mother's life, so rewarding for her. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to stop right here. And I'm going to give a shout out to Ellen's Bio's father and Christina's grandfather, who is ill. I hope he's doing better and getting the kind of care he needs. So other than that, I'll be in Cebu on the 4th of November to the 6th of December. I'm not. Those of you who I reached out to and asked you to come pick up your copy of the magazine, please do so. Otherwise than that, those of you who I didn't see last time, I hope to see this time. And if I don't, que sera, sera. I'll be in New York on I figure first of the month I'll probably make my arrangements to be in New York on the 12th. Got to attend an event on the 17th. So I'm looking forward to going there and visiting my family and seeing my daughter, of course. So remember, this is Gerard, editor-in-chief of Filipino Soul magazine. Remember, dreams are nothing more than plans. Winning action, never disrespect the elderly, and always pull someone up. And sometimes you're the only one to see a vision. And the best revenge in life is to live good. I don't know about you, baby, but I'm living good today. And if you haven't got a dream, a goal, an idea, a train of thought, just remember, get as much as you can, as fast as you can, and go home. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ollie Woodson, former lead singer of the Temptation One song, treat her like a lady. And ladies, if you're lucky enough to have a good man, like me, make him feel like a king. And I'll always love you more. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. I'm going to try to post more videos for you. I know tomorrow I'm going to be dancing for you again. I hope you enjoyed that. So let's make that happen. At least I will. Strive to be the best you can. And as I said, always pull someone up. I'll talk to you later. Love you like a love song, baby. Peace.